We are Sorted, a group of mates who have your back when it comes to all things food. From cooking battles to gadget reviews
Man, it's not worth it.
and cookbook challenges to a midweek meal packs app.
Crack your eggs, bake.
We uncover the tools that'll help us all cook and eat smarter. Join our community where everything we do starts with you.
Now you guys know how much we all love watching our friends Ben and James, who are actual chefs, review some kitchen kit. Well, today we've got something quite wonderful for them.
It's a Wonderbag. It's essentially a non-electric slow cooker. And I'm quite excited about this. How about you guys?
So I think this is really cool. I've heard some things about it. Excited to try it.
I'm excited to see whether it works, because how do you put something in a bag and it keeps it warm for 12 hours?
And also, it's got a really cool backstory to it.
Every day, more than 3.5 billion people cook over an open fire, jeopardising their health, causing widespread deforestation and burdening women with hours of unpaid labour needed to keep up with the demand for firewood. So Sarah Collins, an activist and entrepreneur from South Africa, invented the Wonderbag, a non-electric slow cooker. Just one bag can reduce the amount of cooking fuels for a family by 70% and saves 5 large trees from deforestation. This amazing product has helped to improve the lives of many communities, particularly those in developing countries who live day to day with little to no electricity.
It's obviously doing some amazing things around the world. Get it open! I'm massively intrigued by this because I don't quite understand how it works. So what does it feel like? What's inside that material?
It feels foamy, like insulation. Funny that.
It doesn't look like a piece of kitchen kit at all.
It doesn't.
It looks like something you'd take to bed with you rather than into the kitchen.
Considering how big it is, it's not heavy, but I imagine incredibly well insulated.
I still don't understand how it keeps things hot for that long.
Right, let's crack on and cook. First recipe, lamb curry.
It's worth saying before we start that the lamb recipe is specifically designed for the Wonderbag. It's probably going to work really well. The other two we've come up with, and we have no idea if they're going to work. They're a test, they're an experiment. This recipe is by the founder of Wonderbag, Sarah, and it's a Durban lamb curry. We're going to start it on the hob. We're going to get like the lamb chops really brown. The Wonderbag should continue to cook it for 4 or 5 hours once it's come off. I'm excited for this, and it's got bananas in it.
Served with bananas right at the end.
I like that. This is one of those recipes that I have no idea what it's supposed to taste like, but the flavours excite me when I look at them.
One of my favourite bits about this recipe is that it's marked as a 1 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. So if you screw, screw this up, guys.
I'm getting the other base flavours ready, so an onion, lots of garlic, lots of fresh ginger, and some chilli all chopped up, and that's going to go into the pan with curry powder to sweat off once the meat has browned. I know this is all about the Wonderbag, right? But can I make it about me for a minute?
Why have you got your hands in your pockets?
I left home early this morning. Before I left, I harvested something I've grown for our curry, homegrown chilies.
Can't stand him. The swagger, hand in pocket.
My produce from seed.
Could you not have waited for them to grow a little bit first?
It's not about the size, it's about garlic, ginger, chilli, all into the pan with the curry powder. According to Sarah, last flavour that needs to go into the pan, along with the wet stuff, tomato and beans, a little bit of water, is bay leaf. I did begin from my other pocket. Look what else I harvested. Eber's bay leaf.
Oh, they're so sweaty.
Got everything in. Ben's chilies and bay leaf are in. Next up, lamb goes in, tomatoes go in, beans go in, pour some water in, and that's it, a 1 out of 10 recipe in terms of ease.
Heat up to a boil, and I guess you've got to get it super hot all the way through so that it gets maximum chance of staying hot for 4 to 5 hours in this thing.
Tuck him in.
Lid on.
I'm excited for this.
So am I, but I just show it in a different way, Ben.
It looks like 2 proud parents tucking their kid up for bed.
I just can't imagine how.
Yeah,
But I'm sure it's hot in there, but how it stays that hot.
I suppose now we would chuck that pan into the oven at 150 degrees Celsius or something for 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, a couple of hours with lamb.
With this, it doesn't need any electricity or additional heat, which is amazing and confusing, and I hope it works really well.
So we're going to put it to the side in the studio for 4 or 5 hours and move on to recipe 2.
The next recipe is sticky beef chili short ribs. Super simple.
A 1 out of 10?
This could actually be a 1 out of 10.
I've eaten this before because this is what we made for my made personal like 5-6 years ago. It's a 10 out of 10 eating experience.
It's cooking more meat on bone, so it's great flavour, but it does need, beef short rib, a really long, slow cook. We've also chosen to go cast iron pan, which we think might hold in more heat. And we've got another Wonderbag. Look at that pretty design.
This recipe is so easy that we are going to have to adapt it a little bit actually, because what we do in the recipe is marinate the beef short ribs in soy sauce, star anise, chili, ginger, garlic and brown sugar. And then when we want to cook it, we just add water, put it straight in the oven. So what we're going to do is chuck everything in the pan and then just bring it up to temperature, put it in the Wonderbag.
So you're not searing off the meat at all?
Not in this recipe,
Not this one. Because with all the soy and the sugar and then all the aromats and the star anise, you get so much flavour, plus slow cooking the beef, that we don't even bother searing it off.
That's not to say that you couldn't sear it off. You can definitely sear it off. But for simplicity, this is great. This has to work because it's beef short ribs. And if we can't eat them,
I don't want to waste beef short ribs.
I think what I'm thinking is if this is going in the oven, so this would go in the oven again for like 2-3 hours, maybe more, at a very low temperature, but it would still be like bubbling away a little bit in the oven. Do you know what I mean? And I just can't see how this is going to bubble away. It's just going to stay warm. So are the ribs actually going to cook? Compared to the lamb chops, which will definitely cook because you can cook them fast as well.
Tuck it in. No. You could try and make that look lighter, Ben, there. That was a bit of a struggle, wasn't it?
It's quite heavy, it's cast iron and full of beef.
Just like me.
You know we always like to mix things up, so we're going sweet. This is a chai and white chocolate rice pudding. It's from Can't Be Asked to Cook 2, and it is, in the original recipe, a baked rice pudding. So you start it off, then you put it in the oven, you bake it so it gets a deliberate skin, and it's incredible. We're not obviously going to bake it in here, but in theory, absorption, same quantities, should work.
This one's really easy. All the wet ingredients go into the pan. So that's the milk, the cream, the sugar, the chai tea bags, and the vanilla paste.
Once our dairy has infused, we'll scoop out the chai bags and we go in rice, nutmeg, and white chocolate, diced up. When I first heard about the Wonderbag, I instantly thought of the times in my life where I could use it, which is like camping and picnics and cooler bags for parks, things like that. But it's only when you start to read about the difference they make that I realise just how important they are.
That, my friend, is called privilege. Because we're testing it because this could be good for us to use somewhere in our lives, like, yeah, when we go camping or something like that. It's not something that we'd need to rely on every day, which is the job that they're doing so amazingly, which is awesome.
When I go camping, one of my favourite jobs is collecting the firewood. But you realise that actually it's the women and children who are disproportionately disadvantaged by sometimes up to 4 hours of collecting firewood, stoking fires, keeping them going. That is just going to sit there for 4 hours. You don't need to burn the wood, you don't need to keep the fire going.
So yeah, the amount of fuel is massive in terms of savings, but also the health benefits of not sitting next to an open fire.
Yeah, I didn't
hadn't
realise
even
that.
considered that.
So if there's a saving of 3 or 4 hours a day of wood collecting for fire, stoking fires, the scrubbing of pans that have been on the fire 4 to 5 hours, across a year, that's 1,300 hours saved, which can be put into education and upskilling. Smaller Wonderbag, smaller amount of rice. We'll leave that, I don't know, I'd give it 90 minutes in the oven, but let's just leave it for a while and see how it gets on.
Yeah, I think we just leave it the whole time.
3 dishes.
They look fantastic.
They all had 6 hours in the Wonderbag while we were doing other stuff. And when I opened it up, they were all still hot. A good eating temperature, not at cooking at that point, but a good eating temperature.
Shall we start with Sarah's lamb curry?
Yes.
Dig in.
So we're looking for like sauce that's thick and coating the beans. We're looking for beautifully cooked lamb and all those flavours, like just getting to know each other a little bit.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That is far from dry.
It's delicious.
Oh, wow.
Your fears have been put to bed.
It's perfect, isn't it?
That is great.
Absolutely perfect.
This is me stepping outside of my comfort zone, lamb and banana.
But why not, eh?
I really like that.
It really works.
Should we try the second one? Okay, short rib. I think we should say up front, we were quite bold in recipe choice here, because we did choose probably the biggest chunk of meat on the biggest bone to cook this way.
It's a proper test, isn't it?
Yep. Not done.
Oh.
It actually looks really appealing, but
This looks amazing, but it is not what you expect from beef short rib. And we would typically cook it for about the same length of time, but continually, and you want it to melt in the mouth. We kind of pushed the boat to see what would happen. It's not kind of worked.
I mean, I'm just going to try that
I mean,
bit there.
come on.
It's an end bit, so
Oh,
the flavours.
still, great recipe. The flavours are amazing.
I would look at that and say failure, wrong recipe choice, wrong meat choice, but it's still delicious. I think the key here is either 50% cook and then 50% Wonderbag, so you're still halving the fuel use, or cut the beef up like they suggest in the recipe book. We should stop trying to push the boundaries.
definitely cut the beef up.
If that's a failure,
That's the tastiest failure I think we've ever had. Oh, well done.
well done.
Thank you. It's brilliant.
Delicious.
Right, third one, dessert. This excites me.
So remind me again.
Chai rice pudding.
That takes me to being 4, 5, 6 years old again. That rice pudding just takes me back to being a child, except that has the elegance of the chai and the white chocolate.
I love that warmth of the chai. Love it.
That worked well.
I'm going to call it 2.5 out of 3.
Oh yeah, bang on.
Biggest lesson learned? Listen to the professionals and stick to the lamb dish.
Now, obviously, none of this is hashtag ad. We would have told you that up front. But since buying the Wonderbags ourselves and testing them, we've been speaking to Sarah, who is the founder, and she's actually offered to donate 1,000 Wonderbags and 400 Wonder masks to help with COVID to the communities that need them the most, and do it in Sorted's name, which is amazing.
Incredible.
But we don't want to leave it there. We'd love to see if Sorted as a community can match or exceed Sarah's donation. So there is a link in the description box down below. If you click on that, it will take you to the Wonderbag website where you can donate. Donate whatever you can. If you can afford it, every Wonderbag that gets donated will go to help communities that really need it.
If you are able to donate, then make sure you comment "Love from Sorted" and we'll be able to collate it all, see how much we can do as a community, and we'll keep you updated on the progress. Thank you in advance.
Can we still keep eating this delicious failure?
Yes.
Perfect.
The Packs app is just one of the tools being used as part of the Sorted Club. Members are also discovering and sharing restaurant recommendations using the Eat app, listening and contributing to our Feast Your Ears podcast, and giving us inspiration for new cookbooks received throughout the year. It's all included, so check out Sorted membership by heading to sorted.club. And now a blooper.
Oh, chef.
Well, it's like we're both thinking ahead, isn't it?
Yes, chef. You go with yours.
We've both
No, you go
simultaneously
ahead.
folded a cloth because we have to put that in the bottom.
We both read the instructions.